It's 8 o'clock in Banjul. This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios, and I am Julden Jai. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. The Gambia Standards Bureau, in partnership with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, held a forum on the importance of standardization and information sharing for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Fantabai Seka, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, told National Assembly members that Gambia will be the first English-speaking country to join the Sahel Women's Empowerment and Demographic Dividend SWET in October 2023. And SOS Children's Villages, the Gambia and partners organized their first edition of the National Youth Forum on Thursday to empower the youths. In international news, Ghana's parliament has voted to abolish the death penalty, signaling a significant step towards fostering a more just and human society. In sports news, the Gambia beach volleyball team are intensifying preparations for the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago, scheduled for this August. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. If you are just tuning in, this is QTV News and I am Julden Jai. And now the Gambia Standards Bureau, in partnership with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, held a forum on Thursday on the importance of standardization and information sharing by micro, small and medium-sized enterprises for members of the chambers. Let's have more details of that by Ansumana Esonyasi.
This information sharing session is part of Standard Bureau's National Standardization Strategic Plan, which seeks to address issues such as quality for both entrepreneurs and consumers. Drawn from various parts of the country, most participants are young people and women entrepreneurs. Sarato Konate, the CEO of GCI, highlights how organizing such sessions frequently will help entrepreneurs improve the standard of their products, thereby providing services that respond to their customers' needs.
What you will learn today is a very, very important element and tool for your businesses. Quality, if you start it right, you'll always go further. Success is guaranteed. You may have hurdles, you may have challenges along the way, but because you already have that mindset that you will always be producing with quality, you will always be providing quality to your customers, you will always be honest and continue your business with integrity. That is always going to make you or place you forward.
Madam Konate also gave assurances of the Chamber's continuous support, especially to members. Papa Seka, Director General of the Gambia Standards Bureau, implored participants to network and share information, as this will help in the harmonization of standards.
Some information, some updates that are happening around us, within the country in fact, but around us within the ECOWAS region, as well as the wider African Continental Free Trade Area. And what is being done at the level of the Bureau and their partners within the region to ensure that there is level playing field, not only for businesses in the Gambia, but also your competing peers in other countries. Those are, for example, the harmonization of standards that are going on within the region and also in a wider African context that will help to support the African Continental Free Trade Area. And the Bureau is actively playing an important role in that area, and some of those developments will also be shared with you so that you know the latest updates with respect to these harmonized standards and why there are harmonized standards in the first place, and what are the importance of the certifications that are based on those harmonized standards for the products that you produce.
The Gambia Standards Bureau, among other things, provides metrology and conformity assessment services, standardized systems for all goods and services produced in or imported into the country, and the implementation of a national quality policy, as well as improving quality through awareness raising, information sharing and training. Answane Sonyasi for KTV News.
Now, Fantabai Seka, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, has told National Assembly members that Gambia will be the first English-speaking country to join the Sahel Women's Empowerment and Demographic Dividend SWET in October 2023. She made these remarks during the closing of a two-day workshop for National Assembly members. Let's have more details of that in this report. Launched in November 2015 with financial support from the World Bank, technical support from the United Nations Population Fund and the West African Health Organization, the SWEAT project aims to accelerate the demographic transition, trigger the demographic dividend, and reduce gender inequalities in the Sahel region. This involves creating the demand for reproductive, maternal, neonatal, child and nutritional health products and services by promoting social and behavioral change, including the abandonment of socio-cultural practices harmful to the fulfillment of adolescent girls' potential and the empowerment of women and girls, and strengthening regional capacities. The objective is to improve the supply of reproductive, maternal, newborn, child and nutritional health commodities and skilled personnel, to strengthen the project's high-level advocacy and capacity for policy development and project implementation. Fanta Baiseka, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, says joining SWEAT presents both an opportunity and a challenge for the Gambia.
Yes, a challenge, but we are prepared to take up these challenges, as we have been attending quite a number of SWEAT meetings, and I'm certain that the Gambia is going to add value to the SWEAT.
Madam Seka further highlights some of the activities that they have been embarking on before the project will start.
We have the workforce human resource management procedure, which needs to be developed. We have done that as well. We have also presented that to the World Bank, and it is now cleared. The stakeholder engagement plan is also done through consultancy and a lot of work with a multi-sectorial partner. This is done. We have submitted to the World Bank. It is also cleared.
DPS Seka stated that the Gambia has a higher rate of adolescent birth rate.
The SWEAT response is an integrated package of action, including education. Now, the part in education is keeping girls in school, which will be implemented by the Ministry of Education. Then you have the life skills and adolescent health, which will be implemented by the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
On 28th of June 2020, the Board of Executive Directors of the World Bank granted additional financing of $376 million to support the implementation of Phase 2 of the SWEAT project. This funding brings the World Bank's overall support to $680 million to strengthen human capital and drive development in African countries through women's empowerment. The SWEAT project currently covers 9 countries in West and Central Africa, namely Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Mali, Mauritania and Niger. Along with the Gambia, Togo, Congo and Senegal will also join in 2023. Other speakers at the event included Fatima Tadem, Executive Director of the Forum of African and Arab Parliamentarians on Population and Development, who outlined activities addressed by the forum and some of their challenges. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai. Now, the SOS Children's Villages, the Gambia and partners organized their first edition of the National Youth Forum on Thursday to empower youths in their socio-economic development. Loli M. Kamara attended, and this is her report.
The forum provides a platform for these young people to engage in dialogue with policymakers and other actors in the youth sector to discuss mental health, sexual and reproductive health, vocational education, youth advocacy and leadership. The theme for this first edition is Youth Engaged Change. Kalilu Toure, president of the National Youth Network, gave us overview of the network and what it seeks to achieve.
The SOS National Youth Network was created in 2021, consisting of industrious young people from all SOS programs in the Gambia. The network is created to promote participation of the empowered young people, to empower, advocate, and protect the rights of young people. To emphasize on the achievements of this network, with the support of the SOS management and the Spark Fund, the SOS Youth Network was able to hold an intensive capacity building training for its executive members.
Tijan Betts, National Youth Coordinator, said the objectives of the forum is to strengthen youth participation by creating a space for them to showcase their talents and give voice to challenges they face.
We want to hear the voice of the most vulnerable young people in our society, what their challenges are, and what is the way forward we can work in partnership with organizations like SOS to support them, to be recognized in the society, and to become responsible people and responsible leaders in the future.
SOS Children's Villages is an independent, non-governmental, non-profit international development organization that provides humanitarian and development assistance to children in need. Jean-Pierre Kwame is the director of SOS Children's Villages, The Gambia.
During our last General Assembly in Austria, I'm talking of SOS Children's Villages, globally, SOS is working in 137 countries, and we had a global event early this month, and during that event, young people were represented, and they made it crystal clear that anything you do for me, without me, you do it against me. Clearly. So we need to support young people, to give them the space, because they are able to make change happen. We should not look at them or underlook them or overlook them or underestimate them, because they have all the potential and power. I think Kalilu also made it clear in his statement. They have the potential, and they just need the space.
As they discussed and made recommendations, it is hoped that this forum will serve as a new chapter for empowering and promoting youth development. For QTV News, Lolly M. Camara.
The report by Lolly M. Camara will take us to a short commercial break. When we return, we have some international as well as sports news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
The National Roads Authority, the implementing agency for the Barting-Harding Highway Widening Project, in collaboration with the Ministry of Works, the contractors, Areski, the consultant, South Consult, Gamtech GV, OIC Gambia, and partners, seek the support of the public in the implementation of the project as Phase 1 nears completion. Drivers are strongly advised to exercise caution, adhere to speed limits, and respect traffic diversions. Pedestrians and vendors are urged to maintain a safe distance from the road. The authority reminds the public that the right-of-way remains at 40 meters from the road, center line on both sides. Property owners are therefore urged to respect reserved allocation and refrain from encroachment. The understanding and cooperation of the public are highly solicited. This announcement is brought to you by the National Roads Authority.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is QTV News and I am Julden Jai. Now let's look at some international news stories. Ghana's parliament has voted to abolish the death penalty, signaling a significant step towards fostering a more just and human society that values and protects human rights. Lena E. Igwenyiba tells us more.
The decision, expected to be confirmed by President Nana Akufo-Addo, will replace the death penalty, also referred to as capital punishment, with life imprisonment, aligning Ghana's criminal justice system with international best practice. Currently, Ghana has 170 men and 6 women on death row whose sentences will be commuted to life imprisonment following the enactment of the new law. The move to abolish the death penalty has garnered public approval, with surveys indicating widespread support among Ghanaians. The bill to amend the Criminal Offences Act was put forward by Francis Xavier Sosu, the National Democratic Congress Member of Parliament, and had the backing of the Parliament's Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. A statement from a London-based campaign organization, the Death Penalty Project, says Ghana's decision makes it the 29th African nation and the 124th globally to abolish the death penalty. In recent years, several African countries, including Benin, Central African Republic, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Sierra Leone and Zambia, have also taken progressive steps to abolish capital punishment. Ghana's stance set a positive example for nations worldwide, demonstrating a commitment to ending inhumanity and embracing more enlightened and forward-thinking approaches to justice. In the Gambia, the death penalty still exists in national laws, and high courts continue to issue death penalty judgments, as the case of former senior junta member Yankuba Toure. However, there have been no executions in the country since in April 1993, President Jawara formally proposed abolishing the death penalty, and the Gambia's National Assembly passed bills to remove the country's death penalty laws from their criminal code in April 1993 by overwhelmingly supportive margins. Between independence in 1965 and the initial attempt at abolition in 1993, only one execution, that of Mustafa Danso, was carried out in the country, a constable in the military of the Gambia, who was convicted of murdering Emmanuel Mahoney, the deputy commander of the Gambia's paramilitary field force. On August 23, 2012, the Gambia ended a 31-year halt on executions with the executions of 9 death row inmates. In 1994, President Yahya Jammeh took power following a coup and reinstated the death penalty in 1995. On February 18, 2018, while commemorating the 53rd anniversary of the Gambia's independence, President Barrow announced an official moratorium on executions. In February this year, the Gambian National Human Rights Commission launched an advisory note on the abolition of the death penalty. The advisory note recommends the government reintroduce the 2020 draft constitution, which contains provisions guaranteeing fundamental rights and freedoms, including right to life. It also recommends the government to prioritize and speed up the enactment of the Criminal Offences Bill and the Criminal Procedure Bill, both of which propose abolishing the death penalty. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena E. Gwenyiba.
Now, the United States Department of Agriculture says that in the United States, more than 34 million people, including 9 million children, are food insecure. It says that the COVID-19 pandemic increased food insecurity among families already facing hunger at much higher rates before the pandemic. Now, working to provide food to the less privileged is the Mid-South Food Bank. Aliu Cisse reports from the USA.
It is reported that every county in the United States of America is home to families who face hunger, but rural communities are especially hit hard by hunger. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, unemployment and food insecurity soared. In 2022, 49 million people turned to food banks to help put food on the table. Located in Memphis, Tennessee, the Mid-South Food Bank prides itself as a leading food distributor in the region. It is a member of Feeding America, a national network of food banks. We visited the food bank warehouse and offices, where we were received by Cathy Pop, President and CEO of Mid-South Food Bank. She says the demand for their intervisit is much greater now, thus posing a huge challenge to get adequate food in the warehouse. However, they plan to meet that need with the help of community partners, donors, and friends.
We're getting food from lots of different resources, so we really communicate to our donors and our community that we can really stretch your dollar. So we can turn $1 into 3 meals, and we're getting food from different relationships that we have. One of our largest and the one that we appreciate so much is USDA. United States Department of Agriculture. So they are buying food from the farmers and regulating the market and getting food into the food banks so that we can distribute to our clients. So USDA, big partner. And then we really depend a lot on our volunteers. We have probably 10,000, 11,000 volunteers on the list, constantly working shifts where those volunteers can go through that food and check it for food safety. We always say we would never serve any food to our families in need that we wouldn't serve our own families. So we check that food for food safety and then get it into inventory.
The Mid-South Food Bank currently distributes an average of 2.5 million meals a month through a network of 300 partner agencies in 12 counties in West Tennessee, 18 counties in North Mississippi, and 1 county in Arkansas. We crossed over the Mississippi River to the state of Arkansas to see them in action. Here, volunteers are helping in the distribution of food items to this long queue of cars whose owners have come to collect their periodic food aid supply from the Mid-South Food Bank. Many households that experience food insecurity do not qualify for federal nutrition programs and visit their local food banks, such as this one, for extra support. Many that have come to collect this food aid are all African Americans due to what many will believe is a systematic racial injustice. Though most of them do not want to be shown captured on camera, the few that agreed to speak to us, including Bradford Smith, welcome the good work by the food bank and urge them to continue.
What's the impact that they're having in this community?
It helps with the expenses because of the economy being so expensive now, so it helps offset.
Having a similar but well-managed and organized initiative in most African countries, including the Gambia, will better alleviate hunger and better respond to the needs of the people. Reporting for QTV News from Memphis, Tennessee, in the United States, I am Aliou Cisse.
The report by Aliou Cisse will take us to sports news. The Gambia beach volleyball team are intensifying preparations for the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago, scheduled for August. The team trains at the Palma-Rima Beach, and our sports reporter Momodu Gajaga, who has been following their trail, has this for us.
Gambia's men's beach volleyball national team are intensifying preparations to compete in the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago, scheduled from the 4th to the 11th of August 2023. The pair of Babukar Semega Jane and Sanusi Jawara are training at the Palma-Rima Beach with a host of players for the games. Baidudu Jallo, president of the Gambia Volleyball Federation, was at their training. He says it is important to prepare the team early.
The Gambia is supposed to participate in the Youth Commonwealth Games in beach volleyball. And we have a pair among this group of players that are here. We have a pair, and that pair is going to play in the Youth Olympic Games, which is going to be held in Trinidad and Tobago from the 3rd of August to the 15th of August. What you are seeing here is also intensification of the preparation of that pair.
Gambia Youth Beach Volleyball team is paired in Pool C against New Zealand and St. Lucia at the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago. In all, there are 4 groups of 3 teams each. Defending champions England are drawn in Group D against Rwanda and Canada. Aside from the preparations of the team for the Commonwealth Youth Games, the pair of Seni Jao and Pa Alinjai are also training for the FIVB World Tour.
And I can also tell you that we have you can see the pair of Seni Jao and Alinjai, who are really our #1 pair right now. They are also beginning to prepare for a World Tour event in Burundi in the end of next month, end of August. They will be playing in a Burundi World Tour. So they are also preparing for that, starting to prepare for that competition. And this is going to help very, very well. This is going to help. This kind of environment you have here really is going to help these players. And if this continues, so I can tell you that in the future, Gambia will have a huge platform to leverage on beach volleyball. Huge platform, because you will have a huge number of players to be selecting from. And this is very healthy, because if you have this, you can have a very strong national team.
Volleyball, as with many sports, faces challenges of funding, with players earning a token amount according to the president. He urged partnership between the federation and private companies.
Yeah, we have started this year, but in order to continue, we need partnership, we need support. Today, some of these players don't have work, they are not employed. What we are giving them is really, if you look at in terms of continuity, it's a chicken change. So really, if we have partnership, because we are giving them based on the project that the FIVB is supporting us. And that project was targeted only for a pair of players, but we are extending it, given the nature of our country. But if we have partnership now, you can really give more focus to these players, because they would, at the end of the month, be able to get something that they would just concentrate purely on these sports.
This will be the 7th edition of the Commonwealth Youth Games, and 74 nations will participate in athletics and 7 other sporting disciplines. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
We wish them all the best. Now, before we end, here is a recap of the headlines. The Gambia Standards Bureau, in partnership with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, held a forum on the importance of standardization and information sharing for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Now, Fantabai Seka, the Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, told National Assembly members that the Gambia will be the first English-speaking country to join the Sahel Women's Empowerment and Demographic Dividend SWOT in October 2023. The SOS Children's Villages, the Gambia and partners organized their first edition of the National Youth Forum on Thursday to empower the youths. In international news, Ghana's parliament has voted to abolish the death penalty, signaling a significant step towards fostering a more just and human society. In sports news, the Gambia beach volleyball team are intensifying preparations for the Commonwealth Youth Games in Trinidad and Tobago, scheduled for August. That's all we have in this edition of the news. Do join us on Monday for another bulletin. Many thanks indeed for the pleasure of your company. Until then, let's watch the news in review with Ade Drame and other hosts. Thank you.